Welcome, everybody, to Simulation Talk 339. Simulation Talk 339 is on its way. Hope everybody is doing great tonight. What a great turnout. What up, everyone? Guru, as usual, always on it. Thank you, brother. Nick Salanito Nitro. Salan Nitro. As you can see, I'm really good at reading. Good to see you, Jackie, Kelper, Harry, howdy all, Yoni, Natasha is in the house. What a great turnout. Joel. Hola, hola. Joel Fernandez. Great name. I am doing fantastic. How are you doing? Welcome everybody on TikTok as well. Michael, or is the nice person is in the house? We always need a nice person in the house. Michael is from Britain. King 888. Just a bored guy. Hopefully not much longer. Justin. Oh, baby. Okay. So let's start. Tune up today. Tune out. Sean, how you doing, my brother? So good to see you, man. Oh yeah, me stage. Oh, stage. Discord. If you're not following on Discord, come and do so you can join the stage. We can hear your thoughts. Audio. UNG 427 made it. Yay! Don't know anything about what do you want to talk about? The chakras. Oh, Earth, right? Let's talk about it. Who's here to the chakras of the Earth? I bet you everybody. So we can define chakras as energetic centers, which makes sense. Then we ask ourselves, what manner these energetic centers exist on, what medium they are transferred through, and is it in any way that we can measure, or do we even care to measure? Maybe we don't. My volume is cutting in and out. Sounds crazy and glitchy. You don't want that. Let's find out what's happening. Is this better? Is this sound still crazy? If so, I will change to. Oh, it's not even streaming out. Is it still bad? Because then I will just switch to the laptop today. Yes, they are. So still the sound is weird. All right, let me try and do this. Let me know the sound is pretty good. They're messing with us. Maybe they are. Probably StreamYard. StreamYard is weird in this way. You know what I can do is output 111. You can't hear anything. What? That's crazy. Can you hear now? On YouTube? Wait, did I just switched back to the mic. Is it better or still? I don't know if there's a delay. That's the issue. Okay. All right. Well, we'll go with this, and then yeah, TikTok is always great. Love your picture, Kyle. Love the middle set. Wonderful. Stephen Gates in the house. Okay, so let's talk about. Oh, maybe because we mentioned energetic centers, man. Amazing. So, like I said, if we're talking about energetic centers, like chakras. We wanna postulate what medium do you wanna be in. What is the is there anybody here who knows a thing or 2 about it? Nico is all about chakras. We'll bring him up. York. Are you from Sweden? What? What is this? What what is going on? Just something randomly started playing. This is insane. What up, Mikael? German. You were born in Germany and your father is Swedish? When you're saying here, you mean the US? Someone doesn't want to converse. Loud and clear, baby. Wait. You guys have to be more specific because there's a bunch of comments. Yeah, delay is delay. Delay is going to be there because there's definitely a delay between me talking on Discord to then YouTube for sure. That's normal. And yeah, TikTok obviously is good audio because it's just playing directly from the phone, so it's great. Okay, so I guess because we're talking about energetic centers, that is kind of crazy. Okay, let's see. Do we have experts here in energetic centers? Nico, how you doing, brother?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing great. So since you're the world's leading expert on chakras, lead us away into the Earth's chakras conversation.
What was the energy you felt from CNN? I feel like they have pretty negative chakras.
Well, maybe the network. The people who came were very lovely. So hopefully the story will also be, even though we didn't really actually have that much success with most people. I only brought new people that have never seen it before. They're no purpose. It would make it a lot easier if people who saw it would be there, but I think that was the point. But it was a good interview, good vibes, good times. Let's see what comes out of it. Laser Chase use. I would love to experience something like this. Yeah, Chase did the extended state with the protocol as well. Let me, you know what? Let me just, I'm actually going to look it up. So let's see. Earth chakras. What if I just go Earth's chakras blow me away to my ChatGPT? The Earth's 7 chakras are sacred sites around the globe, with root chakra at the Mount Shasta, California. Of course it is. The sacral chakra at Lake Titicaca, Peru. This truly sounds like something from Ace Ventura. The solar plexus chakra at Uluru in Australia. The heart chakra at you can never pronounce this. Glastonbury, England. Really? The heart chakra in England? The throat chakra at the Great Pyramid of Giza. Egypt. The third eye chakra is the Eon Activation Center. Wait, what? Like in a structure? And the crown chakra at Mount Kailash in Tibet. Wonderful. What does that mean that the third eye chakra is at the Eon Activation Center, believed to shift every 150 to 200 years? The third eye is moving, folks. Okay, so now we have some information.
This is the conversation for Third Eye Drops.
I know. When will the interview come out? The studio said, oh, CNN. It was, I think they said somewhere, sometimes in December. It's going to be like a piece. Again, I don't have a way to know, and they don't have control over it either. That's the last time I was reached out. I was Is that correct? Somebody reached out to me about writing a story for Wired. Sorry, for Vice. That was not the best experience. So I was a little jaded by the media. But let's see. You see the blue behind the green smoky stuff. What does that mean? Yo, what's wrong with the UK being the heart? They're not known to be the warmest people. No problem with it. Just feels inaccurate. Like feels like it would be more in Colombia or something. You know what I mean? But is that hardest? Feels like it would be somewhere in Central or South America. I think you would have to agree, no? Like I would expect somewhere like England to have maybe the, something has to do with the cerebral. It's almost confirmation of progress. Me, British people are quite warm, but unbiased. Yeah, no, that is simply incorrect. Universe is within, Earth is heart. But we're talking about the heart chakra of Earth, which apparently is in England. But maybe that place that they mentioned, which is probably mispronouncing, Gladensbury and Shaftesbury. Well, I guess you can associate a shaft with love and therefore with the heart chakra. So maybe that's what it is. I'm a child. So yes, the subtle energy channels verticals were the prana, or subtle biological energy, converge and have specific properties such as love, sexual energy, like I said, shaft, and the dream state, and what is called Uriya. Well, that sounds interesting. What are we supposed to do? As in, what is our purpose here? Are we supposed to be doing something, not doing something? It's a great question. It's a simple but a very, very good question. I think living the most authentic expression of yourself. I know it sounds super cheesy, but like really connecting to like that energy that is moving through you, I think is the way to go. Joseph of Arithma built the first wattle church in Glastonbury. Gladstonebury. But that's not how it's spelled. But most likely you're correct, and yeah, you're correct. See, my brain just reads it very differently. Oh wait, what up, Carter? Glastonbury, Glastonbury, in the southeast are very friendly folk. Well, thank you for letting us know. Do the laser code react to sound and frequencies? No, but I see the card already responded. Don't mistake London for the UK. All right. I will take the correction. Natasha is saying there is no universally accepted heart chakra. Glastonbury, England, Maui, Hawaii, and Lake Rotoponamu, New Zealand, I have found are all considered the heart chakra. Maybe it's also traveling, like the third eye chakra. How come our third eye chakra doesn't travel all the time then? How hippie is it to call one of your children chakra? I mean, even if you're into this kind of stuff, I think you should be arrested if you do this. Sean is in the house, sending invite. And by the way, I usually don't German. My father is. I was born in it. I enjoy listening to you. Been trying to get my friends to listen. Here, USA, Downey, California, baby. Gotta love California, brother. And yeah, Horg, How do you pronounce your name in English? Do you just go by George, or feel free to come on, by the way. You don't have to just type. I'm not gonna make you. What up, Ghost? But just if you raise your hand, I'll bring you up and we can chat. What up, Sean?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. Do you know anything about the Earth chakras?
No, nothing. Actually, I was curious. Is that something that people like voted on, or is there some sort of study that was done to try and isolate?
Oh no,
percentages?
somebody brought it up and we had nothing better to do, so we looked it up, and apparently it's like in different places in the world. I wonder who discovered these and who agreed to the rankings.
That's what I mean. Yeah, is it like a vote amongst psychics, or how does this get decided?
I guess. I think somebody just typed it in the internet, and
Yeah,
then
it became fine.
and then people are like, oh, clearly it's on the internet.
Yeah, it's the internet.
Actually, that is true, because I don't know if you know this, but they don't allow any inaccurate information on the internet.
Yeah, zero inaccurate information.
Exactly. So if it's on the internet,
no misinformation either.
no, it is what is it is what
You know
what
what
it says.
realized, Danny, is I used to just like buy books randomly. Meaning like I would look at the title, if it would resonate, I'd read the back, and if it was like really powerful, I would just buy it, and it was just random books. But now I don't know if I could do that anymore because I feel like it's so cheap to just make something that seems coherent. And with ChatGPT or whatever, and I just don't feel like now I feel like when I read something, it's got to be someone like really well known, not just a person that wrote a book.
Yeah, you're right. That there's just the level of content that has to be attached to something I will purchase now is way higher. Also, just a reminder, if you guys are not on our Twitch, come and follow our channel on Twitch. It's LaserX83 on Twitch. Again, it's LaserX83. Go and join from there. It helps the channel grow. Have you seen the symbols?
What Nick is saying, that's something that I've come across as well as a problem. I mean, I'll give you an example. I had a friend in high school who later on, became addicted to some hard drugs and had a psychosis. During the psychosis, he had a messiah complex that initiated, and ended up writing a book on the meaning of life, the one true path, or something like that. And this was, I'm talking like 15, probably close to 20 years ago, and he was able to get published. So yeah, you do have to be careful what kind of content you're absorbing and taking, with any matter of respect or grain of salt, depending. But the opposite end of the spectrum is true as well. If you only go for mainstream and widely accepted stuff, you're going to be missing out on where that fine line between what is accepted and what isn't accepted. Like, for example, Danny's work, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like it's the delivery over time. Like, I don't think it takes more than 10 minutes talking to me to understand that I'm really trying to do my best to get at something real.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that's what it really comes down to. And this is what I usually do. If I find a writer I really like, the first thing I do is I binge everything that is available of them speaking online. You can kind of tell by the style of people's conversation. It happened to me with Eckhart Tolle. I didn't know anything about him back in the day, like in 2007, 8. When I read his, I was gifted his second book first. It was A New Earth. And when I read the book, I was like, well, that makes sense and resonates. And then I was like, well, let me just go look at it. And then when I saw him talking, I saw this sweet man who just really is like what he says he is, and you can tell. So then you relax and you're like, okay, well, at least he absolutely believes what he's doing. That's the important part.
Exactly. At the very least, yeah. Exactly.
Jorg? How do you pronounce your name, brother?
So it's Jörg.
Jörg.
That's German. I was, of course, born here, but yeah, it's so if you spell it in English, it's Joerg, which I never do. I just never got used to it, but that maybe helps to pronounce it a little better. It's interesting name. It's not very common here. I don't know. Even in Germany, it's more common, but it's probably like not as the most common name, but I just, I listen to you from time to time. I think you're very interesting. I've been listening for a while. I think I started on TikTok, and I just don't have a lot of time to always devote, but I'm, trying to get more in the habit of catching on to see what the ideas you have, because I think they're pretty cool. Like, I work with lasers, and I have like an escape room, so I do a lot of like building and construction and things like that. So I just
Nice.
it's kind of in my so I like the whole concept. I mean, I'm very much into this science and technology. I'm very much into like AI. I do like a lot of vibe coding, but yeah, I can't contribute much. I don't have the knowledge you have. in
That's
this
the
subject,
we
but I
that
just find it interesting. So
we
I
there's
appreciate it.
no
That's why a couple of friends I have, they're one guy he's kind of more than psilocybin, but he did DMT. It was kind of a letdown for him. I think I just talked to him the other day about it. Nothing with the laser thing, but he just felt like it was more. I think his expectations were like, he was expecting something else, and it was like, wait, what was this? Only 10 minutes, and but I haven't had that experience yet. But
wait. So oh wait, I was muted. Wait, so run it by me again. A friend of yours tried the laser experiment. Is that what you were saying?
No, he hasn't. So I'm just they're doing everything but the laser. So I'm just trying to expose them to, hey, because he's very much into these type of experiences, like mostly like self help and exploration and things like that. And I just so I kind of sent him some links to your YouTube channel, and I think it was Core. The website, but him and another guy they have some interest in it. So I'm like, we should take this to this next level. See, what can be done with it.
Yeah.
Definitely there's something there.
Yeah. So we have, I guess you can say, an official research program around it, and we're doing our best to try and come up with some good results in the next few months. And if anybody tries it, they can go to veilbreak.ai. And they can fill out. Well, first of all, they can see other people's experiments. Yeah, I'll share it here, and they can also fill out their own. They can do it anonymously too. I'll share it here. It's a tool that allows them to basically fork other people's experiments and do their own if they want to do it from scratch, and they can put all the information, which eventually collects to this enormous data storage where we just basically make correlations between all the different attempts that people try. So this is a good tool to give them if they actually try.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. So
how do you how do you go, like, usually people with names that are not very common, do you have to correct people all the time?
I think during my younger years when I was in school, obviously probably it got to be a little bit annoying, but I just kind of put up with it. You correct them, but they just at some point say what they're going to say. And as I'm older now, I if it's people I'm probably associate with more, they eventually understand my name. But if it's like this a casual acquaintance, I don't make a big deal about it. If they want to call me Jorge, put T on there, it's fine. I just think it's kind of cool having a unique name, but
especially in Downey, California.
Short for Jorgen?
So I really don't know that. I don't think they're related. I mean, they're related in that they sound similar, because I have my father for a year ago, but I don't think it's really related. It's very strange. I mean, I don't know the origins to. I mean, I did one time years ago. They go to those like fairs and they give you the origin of your name, and they said it meant something like a farmer or something, which could be. I like working in the earth and the dirt as well as other things, but not sure if that's even relevant. But yeah, I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's the Jurgen. I don't even think. So I also have people ask me questions like, what's the translation to like English? Is it George or something like that? But I don't think it is. I don't think there's a direct translation.
Huh.
You said you build escape rooms, right?
Yeah, I have me and a couple of guys. We have one in downtown Fullerton. I live in the North Orange County area, so
nice.
I have one for a few years. But I have some other things going on. I'm more into right now building software, which is what I really enjoy.
It would be cool to make a code of reality escape room where you need to see the code to exit.
Exactly. Well, that's what I say. We work. We utilize lasers and fog and A lot of like lighting effects, sound effects. I mean, it's fun. It's a cool business. It's really, it's fun to how people go through it and really, enjoy it. And, wow effect. But, I mean, life is bigger than that. And I just a little bit kind of grown out of it. But we are building a space alien abduction room right now, which will hopefully get done. It's been like 5 years. I've been
Oh, wow.
distracted and we've been doing other things, but I think we'll finally get done and we'll finish it probably another 3-4 months.
Incredible.
So
Well,
we
that,
have a location for our first COR road trip. Field trip.
I mean, that would be,
Are you guys all local, or I think, Danny, aren't you? Wait, no, you're in LA area, right?
I was in Pasadena for quite a while. Right now I'm in Florida for a while, and I'm sure we'll be back there at some point. But yeah, I mean, Downey is not that far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not in Downey. I was born there.
Ah.
I live in actually Brea.
Oh, Brea, cool.
Area.
Yeah.
North Orange.
Brea is basically the first city of Orange County, technically, when you come out from LA County, no?
Pretty much. I think first city might be La Habra. Might be. Yeah, you might be right, because it was La Habra. I think that might be LA County. I know
it might be
La Habra, and then we're kind of like there's La Mirada, and I kind of Brea sort of butts up against there somewhere. So
people in LA always talking about roads and directions. That's the joke, isn't it? Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming by. And actually, that would be no. Feel free to hang out. I'm not knocking you out at all.
I'll listen. I'll just put myself on mute. I just don't want to take over, but I just really appreciate what you're doing, and I'm a novice at this, so I'm just like listening, gaining what I can, as well as I do have a question. I don't know if it's how to put it, but I do sometimes. I've watched this guy. You probably heard of him, the Brad of Art guy. What's the story with him? Like, do you guys work together, or because he kind of said he mentioned how he learned it from you, and he's like took off on it and went down. I don't know if he's a different path or what, but I can't really listen to him too much because he just like talks in circles. I feel, and I mean, he's probably a cool guy. It's like every time I listen to him, he's like says the same thing over and over. It's like he doesn't get to the point. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah. So with Brad, like, I'll be honest, like, Brad reached out. He ordered the laser. He saw the code. He, he basically, his claims that he kind of like had a lot of these insights, right? I think what he went through was basically an awakening. And then usually when people go through the awakening, they kind of discover their own, I guess, spiritual talents and things like this. And it's wonderful. It's awesome. I told him so. Like, every time that he tried to involve me in a lot of the stuff that he is doing, and I'm grateful that he thinks of me and everything, but I have to be able to follow what you're doing. And if I can't follow it, like, it doesn't logically click, or just like I can't commit to this, right? So like, the claim is that they came up with their trips. They managed to go like together. Maybe they have. I have no issue with it, but they, they said they came up with equations and things like this. We try to send kind of like these equations in our network. It didn't seem to be like, I'm not saying it isn't. It was on our end. It didn't seem to be like really, applicable to anything. And I couldn't necessarily follow it. I asked people who know, physics way better than I do. What was interesting is that a couple of physicists looked at it, and at the first glance, they said it's not nothing. Like, there's definitely talks about some kind of fields and stuff, but then ultimately, there's some stuff that he was trying to convey with the way to see the code, with, if I understood correctly, without the molecule or something, or without I don't remember. Like in a more just in a when you're sober kind of thing. And he said that there were some equations that were connecting, and they were trying to work with Terrence Howard's team, or maybe they are. I don't know. So like, at that point, I was like, okay, well, it doesn't track for me. Like, I don't see the logic here. And if you can produce a result that can be seen and we can actually do something with, that's awesome. And you should get all the accolades and the appraisal for it. But so far, as far as I know, it's mostly just talking about theoretical equations. And it is not to say that nothing will ever come out of it. I just don't know, because it doesn't make sense to me. But it may as well be some inadequacy in my understanding. So I don't know. But yeah, he's a super nice guy. He's a very cool guy. He's a family man. He's a good guy. That without a doubt.
Okay, well, cool. Yeah, I just was wondering what your perspective was. I didn't listen to him too much. I just couldn't really get into it. I mean, I listened to maybe like 30 minutes, and it just wasn't getting to the point to me. I just probably was listening to the wrong videos, but that just was.
No, I
curious to
I
get
agree with
into
you.
and
There's a
stuff
there,
you were
but
diverged or
but here's the thing.
what your relationship was.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I would say that most people who are going through their religious awakening, spiritual awakening, it seems like what's the guy's name? The one that you and Danny are talking about. Oh, Sean is asking what's the guy's name. It's Brad. What's his handle? I don't know what on TikTok he has
I
a.
wouldn't know.
You don't remember? I'll find it. I'll
It's just
send it to you.
look up Brad of Art. I think that's.
Oh,
what he
Brad
does.
of Arc.
I don't know the actual.
Brad of Arc. I think that's what it is. Yeah, Brad of Arc. So yeah, yeah. What I wanted to say is that what I've noticed is that a lot of people that go through the awakening. My take on it is that what's happening there is that all their channels open, and then there's a lot of energy and a lot of information moving through them. The meaning making machinery of our brain, if it's not prepared, it's simply not up for the task. And then it just becomes this very almost borderline manic like attitude that spills out of people, and which feels super significant to them. But I think that very often, and by the way, I'm not saying necessarily it's what's happening with Brad, but I did notice this across the board with people that kind of go through this, that it does happen to people like that. With Brad, I would say it's a little bit less because you can have a conversation with him, is totally coherent and everything. But I've seen some people that just go full manic, and it's always the same signature. I do think that what they're perceiving is real, but I do not think that there was enough of a preparation, so the vessel basically struggles with it, and it because it comes from the highest of orders and from the highest of authority, so to speak. It feels very important and very empowering. So when all of that moves through a vessel, it comes with this crazy oomph of conviction, but usually it has this feel of like going in circles, because it's just kind of the substantiation and the relevance of the information is in the action itself. It's in the ability to be in the present moment and be that versus talking about it. And maybe that's where some of it is being lost in translation. But that's just me building a picture from a pretty robust number of people that I've noticed this with at this point. Some of which I've interacted with directly. Yeah, go ahead.
It's probably. I mean, I can imagine it's a very emotional experience, especially at first, and that's what it sounds like when he talks, or people like that too. And I had the one experience I've had with the psilocybin, it was pretty awesome. So that's where I come from, and I would like to do more, but this has to be at the right time.
I think it's a little different than a psychedelic experience. So like a spiritual awakening, it seems to have a different flavor. It's like people just like full on get into this like crazy energy in the body. Yesterday, Colin Carroll came on the live on TikTok. He has a podcast on YouTube. I did his show as well. It was a great conversation. Highly recommend listening to it. Called The Embodied Man. And he had a similar experience, and he's talking about it openly, where way back in the day, he basically had this awakening happening to him, and he was blessed with these very interesting insights and energy. But he said that the energy was so strong that he couldn't handle it, so he started drinking. Like he started drinking like alcohol, just to numb the feeling, because he couldn't handle it. And then he basically tainted the vessel, so he was almost like fell down from the grace. And then he had to kind of reestablish that connection in that channel, and then he learned how to master and hold it. Thank you, Jose. How are you, brother? But that sounds to me like it tracks. Like when that energy moves through people, it's not quite the same as a psychedelic experience. It's like it's a very powerful like and also imagine that it's happening without you taking anything. You can't really control it. People report this like very strong light that is moving through them. And I've seen it now like in quite a few people. So I
Yeah,
think
I wasn't trying to compare. I'm just saying where I came from. Like that's the minimal experience I have. I'm sure it's a lot greater, and I can see, from the experiences I hear, it's sounds pretty amazing. So I'm not trying to minimize it at all. I'm just saying, or even, feel the similarity. I just don't know.
yeah,
That's all I had. Yeah.
and I agree.
Well, from my perspective, I like his content in the sense that, I mean, he generates a lot of content, but he provides really cool visuals. But at least for me, when I think about what he's trying to say, there's not a very clear mapping of all of these different concepts that he blends together. So it seems a bit incoherent to me, although his presentation is great. I think he does a really good job. I don't know. Do you have that feeling, Danny? Like, it feels incoherent, but it's so well presented.
That's exactly how I felt when I listened to him. I just couldn't piece it together. It was like not exactly what you said, not coherent. It wasn't like it was getting a small little part, but like I would just attribute to me maybe not listening enough to him. But from what I got, I just wasn't being able to piece anything together. That's it.
I think it's not really arranged very well inside. That's what I think it is. That's my suspicion. But but that's what I'm saying. It's pretty common when it comes to for people go through the awakening. It's very rare when people go through it and it's just very smooth. And I think that's what the preparation is for. And somebody just noted that Richard Rudd, the guy who wrote the Gene Keys, has a very interesting story about this. Ben Smart 372 said this, and it's true. His story is super interesting. His awakening story. He didn't sleep for like 3 days, and he basically downloaded the entire Gene Keys, and then it took him like 7 years to write it total. There's a really good podcast that I heard with him and Rick Rubin. Podcast. Yeah, I'll share the link. It's a really lovely conversation.
If he's collaborating with Terrence Howard, then it's going to be completely incoherent because,
Yeah.
I mean, everything, like 99.99% of what Terrence Howard says is incoherent, in my opinion.
But, well, you know my opinions on this. So
Are you 0, 0?
I'm gonna go with 100%. Yeah, this is downloaded the whole
Hey Dan, I have a question, another question. If you have a moment,
Sure.
I don't want to take over or veer you off from your subject, but I read half the book from Chris Bledsoe, the UFO of God. What is your take on that? Like, I'm like, maybe 40 something percent through, and that was a little while ago, and I never finished it.
So I the whole UFO thing, it's not my wheelhouse. I personally have seen things that I can say they're kind of UAPs or UFOs in my life. I know I have. To say that I know what they are, who they are, what is this, I have no clue. I didn't have enough encounters with these. So far, everything I've seen seems to be very easily explainable in other ways. It is not to say it's not real. I personally have never seen an inkling of a hint of the grays or any of these beings in the molecule space. I know people report it. I have no idea what they're talking about. But that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I have no idea what they're talking about. But I know that very smart, very honest people swear by it. That's all I can say. But I don't see the, and in fact, I don't know if that person necessarily wants to be mentioned. But someone who I respect their intellectual prowess and also I trust their judgment very much. That person surprised me. They said that they had an experience in the, I think, 5MEO space, and he was told that it's it's like what was happening above Jersey was like straight up, that's like the first real kind of like more robust contact and things like this. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I go like, okay, but what can I do, right? Like someone who you really trust their judgment, so I have to report that. But I've never encountered that energy, that whole thing of it. One thing I can say, and I'm on record saying this before, is just from the way that people are speaking, I'm no Chase Hughes, but I do have some a decent body language perception of people. My intuition is that 99% of all the people that are talking about it don't know the first thing about it. Like they have no clue. They're not in the know. They're just regurgitating information. That's my intuition. But I do think the phenomena is absolutely real. What is it? I can't comment because I don't know. And I do believe the stories of people who were abducted and all of that stuff. But I think that ultimately we do need, individually, we have to be able to come in face to face with that. Because, all the regular pushbacks, which is it's 2025. Like somebody actually asked me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to ignore you guys, but and this is relevant to what you're asking. Somebody asked me if we saw the symbols on the Booga sphere. So, or I don't know how to pronounce it. I call it the Booga Booga sphere. But it's my take is that it's fake. I don't see, like, when I look at it, I'm like, really? Is that what you have? Like, this is what you're coming up with? It's like teetering on absurdity for me. The cases like these, and like I can make a better replica, right? And so the fact that the industry is filled with things like this makes me think that it's just like it's a huge money grab that has to do with what I called around the cornerism, which is like it's always around the corner. As long as it's around the corner, they can make money on it. If it arrives,
Someone generated they did a mass spectroscopy on it, and they radiocarbon dated it, and I read the report. It's like they tested the resin on the surface of it. They use like a glue to glue the circuits, and it just tells me that the resin is really old, which I don't know. I don't know what the story is behind this here, if someone fabricated it, or if it really is just old, but just like an old artifact. But whatever it is, it doesn't prove that it proves that the resin is old. It doesn't prove that it's an alien sphere.
Did they carbon date the Booga sphere?
Yeah, I heard about that too, and I think they just can't carbon date metal, right? So that's why you're saying it is a I didn't even know they've had inside of it, how or even open it up. I thought it was a sealed unit.
Let's see. Who carbon dated? Let's see. Who carbon dated the Booga sphere? Bob. The University of Georgia Center for Applied Isotope Studies performed the radiocarbon dating for the Booga sphere, with the results being announced in September 2025. Testing was done on the internal resin of the sphere, which dates the project over 12,560 years old. Laboratory, University of Georgia. Let's see. Let's look at the details. And can you tell me options to... Okay, let's see what ChatGPT has to say. Or formerly living carbon-based material, metallic or mineral spheres cannot be carbon dated. So no laboratory ever performed carbon-14 analysis on it. What was done? A geologic lab in Romania. Wait, this is a completely different information than what Google said. So do you think ChatGPT is hallucinating?
Yeah, it's probably. Yeah, I mean, if you Google it, you can find the report from the university, and it's a pretty straightforward read. It's just they've tested the resin, and it's.
What do you mean by the resin?
I think you said 12,000 years old.
What kind of resin? What do you mean? There's a resin inside of it?
So resin, I think it's like you can get it from like tree sap. Like you can use tree sap as like a resin, and so what resin means is like a glue. Like
oh, you mean like actual resin? Like not like this is not code word for something like resin, like from a tree.
Yeah, it could be from a tree. Yeah, I don't know exactly where they got it. It's carbon based, so it's from some organic matter. It's just we make it synthetically from oil products, but
Mhm.
I mean, you can find it from tree extracts or plants. But it's old, right? So it's it's from like it's a very old piece of resin. So there's that, but
So I go by,
it-
and so this was my intuition too. Like whenever you talk to people who are kind of doing this stuff, this is according to Chase Hughes, right? When he was asked about this point blank, he said, "Well, if somebody's sitting on a podcast or anywhere or in a congressional hearing, or it doesn't matter where, and they're telling you that they're whistleblowing, but they can't tell you any of the key, elements like where, who, all that stuff. Like they're reducting the most important information." According to Chase, like that's his opinion, they're reading from a script. Somebody gave him a script. This is not a whistleblower. So, and that's my intuition too. Because when you ask them questions directly, it's like, wow, I can't tell you. It's like, well, why are you here then? So now it's true that there might be some thing that they don't really know how to release or how to talk about it. All of it is possible, absolutely. I all I can speak from is my own kind of intuition and just just my I'm watching most of the people in that space, and they do not look like reliable people to me. And they always have this vibe. They all have this vibe. Like something is slightly off. I can't really put my finger on it, but it's just slightly off.
the David Greer vibe.
No, that's a lot off. That's not slightly off. That's like completely off. That is just screams that
You
that
said
dude.
Bob Lazar. You said Bob Lazar passes your sniff test, right?
Bob Lazar confuses me. But people agree, they're like they just scream con artists to me, like straight up. But Bob Lazar confuses me because it's kind of hard. Sometimes there was a couple of moments where I was like, what was that? Like I don't know. But again, I'm not an expert, in these things. It's just like I'm just sharing my intuition with you. And with the full admission that I can be completely wrong about all of this. But if you ask me right now, just my personal opinion, that's what it is. I think these things are real. I think the most likely explanation is that there might be some secret organization that most likely even that they kind of know about what's actually going on. Maybe not even that, but I think that most of the situation is such that the government is simply embarrassed and they don't want the public to know that they don't know what's going on either. So it's easier to create all these like kind of like like pretending like they're hiding something as if to say we know it but we can't tell you. That's more likely to me. And by the way, I did see recently, I've never seen it before, but I did see an official statement by the White House spokeswoman. What's her name? The blonde lady. You know what I'm talking about?
Pam Bondi? Oh, the secretary. What's
Yeah,
her
yeah,
name?
Secretary. No. The blonde girl. So what's her name?
Yeah, I forget her name.
White House spokesperson. Anyways,
Caroline.
yeah. This Caroline Leavitt.
Levitt?
Yeah. I saw a clip of her saying they're taking ownership of it. The drones over Jersey. They're saying this was authorized crafts by the American government. That's what she said. I saw this clip. So now, is this a cover up?
Pretty compelling video that they were drones, but they were looking for radioactive because one of them crashed and someone filmed a video of it, and it was like it had like a cryogenic sensor, and someone was saying that, oh, these are meant to detect radiation. So what I had heard, and I believed it, but it was that they were running these like radiation drones to look for potentially some radioactive material that might have gone into the country or something.
Yeah. Well, again, it can also be a cover up. I'm totally open to these possibilities. I don't have a lot writing in these stories. What is your, because you asked, I've been rambling for a while. What's your take on it, Jorg? And also, glad to see you, Ghost. Feel free to just chime in. Feel free to just unmute and just talk whenever you want. Go ahead, brother.
Take on which one? The Bogosphere?
No, just aliens in general. Like, what's your?
On those UFOs? Well, I mean, Yeah, I'm very open to a lot. I'm not very specific. I'm not gonna put my, all my um eggs in one basket, I guess you could say. I mean, I think there's definitely something out there. What it is, we don't know. I think things will be hopefully revealed in more time as things could move along. I mean, I know it's not like I don't believe. I do believe there's things out there. I just don't know to what extent. How everything. I guess the big question is how everything fits together.
So yeah,
Your experiences, everyone's experiences.
I'm with you exactly. And actually, this whole theory that maybe they're coming from the bottom of the ocean actually makes the most sense to me. If I always said that if life evolved on land for the last what, somebody here who knows better than I, what is it, like 500 million years? What is the earliest kind of like life form on Earth, on actual land? I don't know, but whatever it is, life inside the ocean is way older than that, right? So you would imagine that it would be way more advanced. Now, maybe there's some limitations that because of the viscosity of water, maybe it actually prevents the ability of doing certain things, opposable thumbs and all that stuff that people postulate, because of which we have the abilities we do, dexterity and all this stuff. But maybe not. Maybe there's a way, they're way more advanced and they're just very good at hiding, basically. That also makes perfect sense to me. And I know for a fact that nobody can erase this from my memory. I saw when I was, I think, 12 or 13. 100%. I saw something. Here's the crazy part. It wasn't shiny at all. It was already evening time, so it was pretty dark. But it was as close to me as maybe I was in the apartment. I was looking from the balcony. We were on the 4th floor. It was maybe, I want to say, I don't know, like very close. It was no more than 100 feet from me, like in the air. So super close. And it was spinning. It looked like an upside down cupcake. It was not shining at all. It was rotating just like you would expect a UFO to do, that whole, but like straight up, like right in front of me. I was like, what? And I even called my mom and she saw it with me.
Super close. Did it have light?
No lights at all. I could see it like super clearly because there was enough light coming from the streets. That's how close it was to the ground. And then my mom saw it too. And then out of nowhere, it just went. You can't see me right now, but like it just disappeared, just like it just flew really fast. So
no sound either, right?
I don't remember. I don't think so, but I saw it. Like I know I saw it. I know there's no question about that. So I know something's going on. There's no question. But these connections that people make, and also very often, and this is a quick plug as well. My conversation with Andres Gomez, that is available for paying members already on Dango Thoughts on YouTube. And you guys will be able to see it on Saturday.
Listening to that or watching that.
Oh, cool. So in the thanks for sharing, brother, and would love to talk about it in a moment. One of the things we said there is that this connection that people make, for example, between dreams and the molecule space, right? Both me and Andres agree that what are even people about? Like, what are they talking about? Like, it doesn't look at all the same. It doesn't feel at all the same. Like, it's not the same thing at all, dreams and the molecule space. And in the same vein, just like people say, well, maybe these abductions are just like your body pumping a bunch of DMT. Doesn't feel like what people describe with the grays feels at all like what you see on the molecule. So again, from my personal experience, I can't make these connections. I just know that I know what I saw, but I've never seen even an inkling of a hint of what I hear people report in these spaces. That's what I can say with confidence. How you doing, brother? Good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's good to be back. About Andres Gomez, your talk with him, my mind is blown so far. I think I've only seen about half an hour of it, and I look forward to finishing it. But yeah, very interesting.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. That's a great commercial. If you guys are not on YouTube, come listen to that conversation on Dango Thoughts on YouTube. You just have to sign up to be a member, and you can see it right now. If not, you'll see it on Saturday. What did you want to say? Sorry.
On the subject of UFOs, I had a weird experience about 2 years ago, and like I saw something, and it wasn't anything like what I know of, any aircraft that we know of, or drones or whatever. But at the same time, it wasn't like that crazy enough that I think it was a UFO or aliens. So it was just like some very silent aircraft, kind of high in the sky, but like not high enough to be like a commercial aircraft. Just like zooming through the sky and having like a white trail behind it.
Crazy. Also, Nico, that's very funny. Nico just posted a meme on Discord saying, Darren saying, the mushroom told me nobody knows jack shit about what's going on. Sounds about right.
I had a very similar experience to Ghost Stars, where in college I went camping at Big Sur and I saw this zigzag trail in the sky. It was like a light in the sky, but it was like really fast and it was making sharp, turns. And I remember we were camping with this class, and I remember asking people if they saw it, and then I said, I think that was an alien spacecraft. I remember because I remember thinking my physics model was broken, like there's nothing that can move like that. But
See, a lot of people have this. And by the way, to your comment, John, feel free to come on. Palantir already has all your information, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, since we're on the subject, I mean, I've had a couple experiences like that too, where it's not clear what exactly it was I was looking at, but it definitely did not conform to my existing world model or my understanding of physics. The right angles, the rapid acceleration or almost instantaneous acceleration and deceleration. And this is, before drones were a thing. And, we were talking earlier about, those moments of awakening. And I'll also tie it into Dan, the feeling that you got when you looked at that red light and something just kind of took you and said, like, there, go that direction. I kind of had a moment like that when I first put together the two ideas of, I was watching a Chris Ramsey podcast called Area 52, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And he had one of those, the main whistleblower guy from the Navy, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name now.
General,
not Grush. What's his name? There was something.
Grush? Is it
Grush?
Grush?
Yeah, Grush.
It's not Grush. No, I don't believe so.
Commander Fravor? No.
He's a muscly dude, always wears a baseball cap.
Oh, you're talking about the one that was the head of ATIP? Lou Elizondo?
So there you go. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he had him on there, and they were talking about, I don't think it was the Buddha sphere. I think it was another sphere. If from memory, it was green and it had hieroglyphics on it, right? And, then I had a chance after the fact to look at that sphere, and it really looks handmade, like there's nothing precisely machined on that thing at all. But regardless, that was the first time where I put together the idea of the symbols on the sphere and the symbols in the DMT laser experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I had that thought, I don't think I recall another time in my life where I so strongly felt like the full body rush and just, yes, that's it. Look there. So that's something that for me isn't nothing, and I'm still waiting to see if there's some information that ties it in together somehow. The closest thing I've seen to date that might make sense, but it still in its entirety looks kind of faked, is the Carrot report.
Yeah, I saw your question. I was about to address it. I don't know if you saw, I talked about it quite a bit in the Danny Jones podcast. That it does make sense. It does make sense to me that that these symbols are basically, the language is what the substrate speaks. So when you put these in the substrate, which is essentially what the Carrot report says, if you put those these symbols in a particular map, it adds a function to the matter that it didn't have before. So it cannot fly without these symbols, and then when you introduce these symbols on top of it in a particular arrangement that the matter itself knows, it's the matter itself reads that code, then you're telling code, oh, now that I'm going to introduce magnetic field, now it's going to be anti-gravity or something like that. Like, so that makes exact perfect sense to me.
Okay, it's the first time we had a chance to talk about it, so I'd love to dive deeper on that, because that's one thing I was questioning. Yeah, is it am I the only one that checks with and acts with? And especially, here's the thing, whatever, ChatGPT can be a great tool for analysis for certain things. And I ran it through. I just wanted to see, I had it compared to what professional, what did I look for? Not forensic analysis, but document analysis to tell the veracity of the document.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're lacking any source of verifiability, there's no evidence of the Carrot Lab ever existing, and so on. Oh yeah, there it is. That's the.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check out that video after. Thanks, Dan. Yeah. So I wanted to know what can ChatGPT tell about the wording and the way that the document is structured as far as verifying its authenticity.
I didn't think of that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. It returned that I can share the conversation with you, or you can run your own. Just make sure that you properly prime it so that it has the correct methodology to approach it with.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't impressed. It wasn't impressed.
But you know what?
I was still hanging on to a string of hope that there's something there, because
I will tell you something. Sometimes the simulation speaks in mysterious ways. So sometimes it would, even in a fake report of some sort, there might be a bit of information, like that particular thing that I just said about the characters being the thing that reality speaks, that might be actually true. Now, obviously, we have to be able to substantiate this, right? But somebody just shared an email with me, and I want to give him credit, actually, because I don't know, because that's super helpful. It is. Oh wait, I don't know if they want me to say their name, so I'll actually ask them, and if so, I'll.
Gallimore elaborate on the Carrot report in his rebuttal?
Yeah, he said
a year ago.
Yeah,
and said it was katakana
in reverse, katakana in reverse.
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha.
But I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what caught my attention was about the Carrot report specifically. Remember, we've talked about instances that I've experienced under different molecules where symbols reveal themselves to me in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's as far as my memory will allow it. And like I had mentioned, these were shared experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So both me and a friend, under this effect of the same molecule, both went to the same places and saw the same things. And I had to check with him first. I had him tell me, I had him sketch on a piece of paper what his best recollection of those symbols were, to make sure that I wasn't going to show him something that would, oh yeah, that's what I saw. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I had him sketch them down first, and it tracks, man. They're very, very similar to what's on the Carrot report. It's exactly what I remember seeing.
And it's very similar to.
Sketched as well. So
it's very similar to what we see in the laser.
Sort of connection there.
And it's very similar to what we see in the laser. It's kind of like that, and some of them are kind of like Hebrew. And
yeah.
Wait, what? We'll end in 5 minutes if I don't do this. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, do you see this thing that it just shared? This is a
magnetic component discovered in the Faraday effect.
Yep. This is new.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think there's something here. Somebody shared this to me with me via email. I'm gonna ask them tomorrow if they're okay with me saying who that is, so I give them credit, because I feel like this is actually super relevant.
Okay.
And basically the gist of it is that they did.
Dude.
Yep. Do you remember how much I was like, well, magnets, something,
magnets, yeah.
and
Revisit that paper we wrote.
Yep. And what I noticed as I was speaking to somebody, I think to Sean from CNN. Oh, and John, thank you so much for the kind words. Yes, CNN was really cool. I forgot to say thank you. So anyways, I was telling it to somebody during the the day we were shooting. Excuse me. And for some reason, I never really connected those dots before. What happened twice is that when I smoked a bunch of 5-MeO, the code in the laser fully closed, so it became completely opaque, as if somebody closed the window. Like, whoosh. It was very clear. And in both cases, so first, because I was telling somebody that story, and I was pointing out the fact that when this happened the second time, it happened with Mark Sokol. Shout out to Mark, the brilliant Mark Sokol from Falcon Space in New Jersey, who's working on anti-gravity technology there. And we were inside of his Faraday cage, and he was in there with me, and he spun he had a polarizer on a laser that Carter brought, and he spun and he twisted it to be 90 degrees with Earth, just perpendicular to Earth. And right when he did that, at the same time, unfortunately, I also torched the vape. So then the thing happened again, and he said, "Do you see it now?" And I said, "No, because I just torched it and it just closed again." And he said, "There's your answer, polarization." And I was like, in the moment, I already knew that he's like super excited, but I was like, yeah, but it happened before without the polarization. So, but at the same time, then I thought about it. Wait a second, maybe this is a communication. I don't think it's a coincidence. Like the fact that it felt very symbolic that he spun it right at that moment. And I said, and he asked me, it's almost like he emphasized, it's almost like the universe was talking through him. So the intuition was, it's almost like somebody closed the laser as a communication form, almost like saying, and what's the next step? What now? And then, so I think he's right. I just don't know how he's right. And then as I was telling the story that I'm telling you now, I all of a sudden realized, wait a second, the first time it happened, it was also inside of the Faraday, it was a Faraday tent that we bought on Amazon.
Okay.
So I bet you there's something that has to do with isolation with the Faraday cage. Now, the Faraday effect is different, but the fact that they shared the name, and obviously, Faraday also built the cage to isolate from electricity, but in this case, it also isolates from magnetism. So maybe it's actually nullifying magnetism. Is what's required. And then polarization plays a role, and then something else is supposed to happen. So it's almost like a sequence of things that you got to combine together. So anyways.
That's interesting because it seems like you can polarize light by using polarized filters, not just magnetic fields, but it is interesting to use a Faraday cage for sure.
So can you this I'm going to show my deep ignorance right now because I actually don't recall at all. Can you polarize? Is there a polarizer for magnetism?
So what a polarizer is, it's so when you have light that is flying, or I guess shooting in a direction,
okay,
you have a magnetic field that is oscillating. And so what a polarizer, and it's rotating, or it has an orientation. But when you have a polarizer, it lets through only one orientation of that light.
No, I know that,
so
but
if you have a magnetic field that interacts with the magnetic field of light, it can rotate it. So you can change the polarity of the light.
But the electromagnetic field light is both the electric and the magnetic field going perpendicular to one another like this, right?
Yeah.
So then when you polarize the light part, you're only letting one of them in. But not but not magnetism, right? This is not like
you're letting in one angle of a magnetic field, or sorry, an electric field.
The electric field. Yes.
What's happening is you still have a magnetic field that's traveling with that light wave. It's just in one direction now. So what's interesting is that I think when you shine the laser light, you have like a lot of different orientations. And so when you polarize it, you let one through. And then what happens is that you could cross polarize it on the other side. So you'll see nothing go through that polarizer. But what happens if
Let's say you had an up-down polarizer, and then afterwards you put a left-right polarizer, there'll be nothing left that makes it through that second filter. Is that what
exactly
you're saying? Yeah.
unless and so you can if you have a magnetic field in between the polarizers, the magnetic field will rotate the polarity of that, and so you'll actually get some light through. So typically,
Okay.
what scientists do is called it's called polarized optical microscopy, where you polarize light and then you shine it through a material, and the material scatters it in different directions, and then it makes it through the other polarizer at the other side of it. And so you end up seeing the properties of the material, and every material has a unique kind of like change in polarization.
Uh-huh. Right.
Or you can use stuff like a magnetic field. But we thought the magnetic field that was needed for that was kind of strong because we were doing calculations on it, and we need to revisit the math maybe, Danny, but we kind of felt like I remember Melvin also said, "Hey, we gotta relook at this." But according to the article that I just skimmed through, it seems like it's a first order effect, they're saying.
Which translate this to the common folk, which is me.
It means that the effect is not negligible. So
First order, like in the
equations that
numbers.
we were
Okay.
using
Yeah.
were like very tiny differences, like tiny splits. I think we were maybe using the wrong equation, maybe. But a first order effect would mean that like it would have a very strong effect on the polarity, as opposed to like a second or third order effect. Because I think we were measuring like it's splitting light. We were measuring it splitting the light, right? So maybe it was a slightly different effect, but we were measuring like 0.1 nanometers of splitting. And so we were even determining whether the human eye can really discern something like that.
Interesting. Also, I think Office problem might be onto something. He's saying polar bear, pole shift. Maybe he's right. Maybe it has something to do with polar bear.
When we're dealing with holograms, is it only phase that's important, or does the orientation, the polarization of the light field matter? I forget.
From what I remember, let's see if I remember correctly, and then Nico will correct me if I'm wrong. From what I remember, if you polarize it, then it will the front wave that will be emitted from the surface of the screen after the information was recorded. Basically, however information was recorded, if it was just with one angle, so a polarized light, then you would just simply, it would have to be that same light when you're sending only the reference beam. If you add the full scope of that light, then it will come with an interference pattern, because it was not the phase shift was recorded with the polarized light. Is that correct, Nico?
Not sure.
I actually don't know how holograms work.
Boo.
Take a look. It's interesting stuff. I just found out about it a couple months ago while looking into this project. So
I think I looked it up. It was something that was on my mind for sure. After that happened with Mark, I went down the rabbit hole with ChatGPT, and I think that was the conclusion. But we should double check. I think it's correct. Like, it's just however the light recorded it, because it's just a matter of angle of light. So like whatever light you sent to meet the object beam, that's the light used to clock the phase shift, which means that however it came, that's how it has to come again, exactly in that angle, to then basically to cash out, so to speak, the information that was encoded on the sheet. And if it's going to be any other light or any other angle or any other change to the light whatsoever, then you're going to introduce interference, basically.
how does that interference manifest visually?
Depending on the exact difference. So if it's just a different in the angle, then it's going to maybe move sideways a little bit, because the first and second order, what are they called? What are they called? The second order light thingy in the hologram. I forget what it's called. But anyways, the concentric circles of the different order beams, they would just slightly shift. And if it's polarization, and then you add the full one, I think it's
The
just
full
gonna look.
spectrum.
Yeah, I think it might just look ghostly a little bit, but it depends on the exact thing you're changing.
Okay.
Yeah, because it has to do. So it's actually the mechanics of it is super interesting, of the hologram of the actual sheet.
Really.
The reason that it's possible, there's a few things there. One of them is that it has to be let's see if I remember this. So first of all, it has to be like a super high resolution screen. I don't remember the exact number, but like you have an enormous amount of pixels on that screen. And the other thing that has to be there is that if you want to remove the conjugate image, which is the upside down kind of ghostly image that kind of comes from the side, you have to use a particular angle for the reference light, and you have to use a material that is not. Wait, I forget which one it is. I think it's the one where. So there's the material can be, you know how the basically the amplitude, so it lets light in and then it doesn't let light in. But the way it lets light in and doesn't let light in can be gradual. In other words, it will look like a sine wave, or it can be would it be called linear? I don't know what it's called. It's just like it's basically just like on off, on off. It would be like no light at all, full light, no light at all, full light, no light at all, full light, and it's a basically
I
a
got
grid
some too.
a grid of this, right? So I forget which one it is, but I think it's the one with the on off on off on off will cancel out the conjugate image, and then the one with the sine wave will always have like a conjugate image somewhere, and you have to kind of just angle it a particular way so it goes away from where you would be looking, or the other way around. But I think it's correct. I think it's the on off is the one that eliminates it. So there's those two components have to be on the screen. Did you ever end up watching that 3 blue 1 brown video in full about the hologram?
Talking to me, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think he talks about that there. I just don't remember the exact details.
It's worth a rewatch though.
Oh, I rewatched it so many times.
It's brand new for me, so each time gives me a bit of a deeper understanding.
Yeah, I'm trying to create more and more intuitions as I go, but I know there's something there. Okay, let me see here. Dolphin? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, out of curiosity, what was it? 081-812-802, something like that. 081-801 and 01802.
081-801 and 081-802.
Yeah. Okay. So the first time you popped that in, you got a paper, and it was talking about Higgs boson. And then
No, it wasn't.
Link.
No, it wasn't.
Remember?
It wasn't talking about the Higgs. It wasn't talking about the Higgs boson. It was talking about them, CERN, looking for particles outside of the standard model by using the W and Z boson coupling. Okay. A year after the discovery of the Higgs boson. So that was the only reference.
Apologies.
No, it's just in case it was relevant to your point, just to make sure. Why do you mention this?
So did you ever have a chance to look at the other 081-801 and 081-802 that I sent you on the optical physics page?
You know what? I haven't went through them yet, and I should. Hold on. No, because that was very important actually. So thank you so much for reminding me. Hold on.
No problem. I'm curious, because
papers.
It pulls up 3 papers out of all the papers on that site. It's opticspapers.org or something like that.
Did you send it to me via?
Reliable
did you send it to me
on the subject?
Did you send it to me via email or WhatsApp? Do you remember?
I sent that to you on Discord, but I can forward it wherever you like.
No, I can look now. I'm gonna do it as you speak. Okay. Keep going, because what Sean suggested, just to fill people in, he said, "Well, this looks like just a bunch of papers in that region, and what would be interesting is to see is there a theme running through all these papers together." Continue.
That's right. Yeah, because based on the one that popped up in your spotlight, right? I started looking into those papers, and that prefix 01801 seems to be talking about a category of paper rather than basically an overall subject, an overarching subject. So I wanted to see what other sites might have a similar approach to their organizing their papers, and it seems to carry across into the fields of optics as well. So not just particle physics, but also optics engineering. So the site that I found pulled up 3 papers. I don't remember exactly. Oh, here we go. I found it. So one of them is quantum entanglement demonstrator for public engagement.
I'm looking at it too. Yeah.
Parallel image registration method for snapshot Fourier transform imaging spectroscopy. That was all Greek to me. And effects of temperature inversion in the lower atmosphere on dispersion and angle of arrival of highly directional beams. That one seems to ring a little bell there. So
I feel like this is about refraction. What about parallel image registration method for snapshot for? Oh, that's the one you said. Fourier transform imaging spectroscopy. Yeah. Wait, parallel image registration method for snapshot Fourier transform. So I guess it's isolating a portion of the wave. But there's another one, exceeding Nyquist Shannon sampling frequency limit for camera-based laser detection. Okay.
Oh, you have 4 results now.
Yeah, now there's 4 results. I'm actually gonna.
They added a new one.
I'm gonna share it on our chat as well. Because Nico
on camera-based laser detection. Interesting.
So yeah, right there. I just linked them. If you click on this link, you're gonna have four papers. Is there anything that jumps at you, Nico, that might be kind of common denominator between these papers? Okay, he's gonna look through it real quick. You find what you're looking for. Wait, there's a bunch of people. What up, Tammy? Why don't you use some kind of machine like they do at light shows to make the whole wall? It doesn't really work. I know it's a big suggestion people make to make it wider. It's okay. It doesn't really add much. If anything, it makes it harder to concentrate. It doesn't really kind of reveal. Yeah, I would imagine that you would think that it would give you a much better understanding of the full scope. It's just as confusing, if not more confusing. Could polarized light affect the brain in some way that normal light doesn't? Possible. A lot of my visions before bed have a type of polarization effect where the darkness in mind transforms into lines of light. Huh. How do you know it's a polarization effect? Usually polarization just kind of makes light a little bit more dim. That's all you really perceive with your eye. So what do you mean by polarization effect? Who can? So many crazy comments.
One of the things I noticed that's interesting is that on that website, if you type 081802, you get the paper. And if you type 081801, you get a special section guest editorial on the associated paper in the previous results. So if there's one that looks interesting, maybe also check the 01801 version.
081. Oh, within results. No, not within results. Just on the website, basically.
On the website, yeah.
I'm getting 3. I'm getting 3 hits, and it's special section guest editorial, education and training in quantum sciences and technologies. Special section guest editorial imaging spectrometry. Special section guest editorial atmospheric propagation. Interesting.
Yeah, the same 3 subjects that were carried across in the original 3 papers. Since the 4th one is new, I guess they haven't had a special section guest editorial on it yet.
Huh. I wonder why they do it that way. Isn't like a paper number should just be that paper's number?
You would think.
All the sections and subsections. Yeah. Let's see if Nico has any brilliant ideas. It seems like there are stands of light, almost like domains of space, vibrating and creating flowing textures of color, which define a difference between themselves and the darkness. So more like on, off, on, off, on, off, like a grid, right? Is that what you mean? And that's how your visions come when? Like under what influence? Yoni saying light is way more fascinating than we could even know. Just oh yeah. I think light is a big key. Pocket follow. What are we? Wow. How are you, brother? Found it. Found what? Like into that. Oh wait. Hold on. Let me look. Let me read your comments. World War I night vision goggle. Yeah. I'm familiar with this. From what I understand, that story is not true. But if you want to find me the original, actually sources for these stories, that'd be great. As far as I know, these stories are fake.
All right, I'm gonna have to call it a night soon.
All right, brother.
Let me know if that your mic is broken, Nick. Let us know if you see anything of interest in there, Nick. I'm curious to hear your take on that. And
yeah, that'd be great. All right, I think.
As usual.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. It's because he was supposed to give us very important information. They're trying to silence us. Trying to silence Nick. Thanks, Sean. Thank you. Thanks for coming by. Okay, great. So in that case, let me just make a couple of announcements. If you guys, one thing I do want to, before we say, anything towards the end, I just want to remind everybody that I will be sharing soon the information about the upcoming retreat on February 28th. Like I said before, this first one at least, maybe the only one, like the first one that's going to be like that, is going to be, because we've been building an infrastructure, it's going to be a little bit more pricey, and it's going to be pretty, there's not going to be a lot of people. Just because we want to hone in on what we're doing, and we want to make sure we did one a couple of years ago. It was a big success, but I want to make sure that we deliver something of very high end, and then eventually we will probably very quickly we'll create also retreats that are that more people could afford. For now, those will be probably around the $10,000 per ticket price, but it's just that the majority of it goes towards what actually needs to be bought and rented and all that stuff. So we want to do something very big, but that will give us the opportunity to actually create something for many more people. So if you guys think that you're interested to do something like that, please reach out. Feel free to email me, either lasersimulationx@gmail.com or dengoprox@gmail.com. We can set up a call and talk about it. But we'll also be sharing in general, even if you can't participate in that one and you want to come for future ones, we still would really appreciate your feedback about what you would like to have in a retreat, so we can tailor suit this to the kind of audience that is interested in this. And some things are obvious, but other things are not that obvious. So there's going to be some things in these questionnaires that if you guys would like to answer and give us some information on that, that'd be great market research for us to be able to deliver that. So we'll be sharing this on Discord very, very soon. I think that's it on that front. I'll be announcing more, and I'll be launching a community. There's going to be paid community, but it's not going to be very expensive, but it will allow people access to many different really good practitioners in their fields. And in there too, if you guys want to share on Discord what kind of practitioners would you guys like to have in that community, Discord is still going to be free for everybody. Everything stays the same. There's just going to be an extra service that we'll be able to build and actually expose. Well, expose is a bad word, but give exposure to practitioners who help people, and all kinds of breathwork experts and energy experts and all that good stuff. So I'm going to be sharing that on Discord very soon. If you guys want to follow me across platforms, it's Danny Goller on Instagram and TikTok. It's Goller Danny on X. Just swap them. It's LaserX83 on Twitch. Again, it's LaserX83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. You can also follow my new show on Spotify called 0 to 1 with Danny Goller, from Earthbound Minds to Cosmic Citizens. a show that will be talking mostly about the future of humanity and what we are in this universe and what we need to do. Thank you so much, Nomikid. I appreciate you. Anybody who joined from Twitch, I really appreciate you. It helps the channel grow. And that show I'm very passionate about. We're going to have great guests there. Again, it's 0 to 1 with Danny Goller. Come and like and subscribe on Dango Thoughts on YouTube, DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. And you can become a member, which will give you early access to all my content. For example, my conversation with Andres Gomez that is already live right now for paying members on YouTube. And for everybody else, you would be able to watch the episode on Saturday. But all my episodes are going to be that way. You'll gain early access to it. If you sign up for the second tier upwards on YouTube, just make sure you email me to the email listed there so I can send you the invite to our monthly Zoom calls. Don't forget to do that. And if you still want to donate to the post-production process of the film, huge shout out to Aaron Venden, an absolute G. He's going to bring you an incredible film. And to Chris Paris, our producer, who also edits on this film. They're editing together, and it's going to just be phenomenal. If you guys want to donate to this, just find the link to the trailer of the film, The Discovery, under this live right here on YouTube right now on Dango Thoughts, or just search for it. Go to Dango Thoughts on YouTube and then search for The Discovery. And in the under the trailer, in the description, you'll find the link to our GoFundMe page. Any donation is received with gratitude. If you donate over $1,000, you will automatically be added to the list of people who will 100% will see the movie together as a world premiere with us for the first time ever, with Q&A and everything. I think it's pretty amazing. And if not, of course, you're going to see the film. We're going to make sure that it's streaming everywhere we can find people. It's going to be great. What am I forgetting? Please come check out our website, codeofreality.com, codeofreality.com, where we have the lasers, the protocols, and everything has to do with what Core is doing. And you can go to veilbreak.ai, veilbreak.ai, if you want to share your experiences with the laser and see other people's experiments with the laser. And grab your merch on YouTube, on Dango Thoughts, hoodies, shirts. There's going to be new items very soon, mugs. We have the Core Code of Reality items, and we have the Human First campaign, which denotes the attitude that we should treat each other as humans first before any political affiliation or any conviction you might have about the world. So treat each other and the world as humans first. And please check out, I know I'm forgetting one more thing. Oh, the most important thing, come join our Discord community where we have like-minded people sharing these ideas. You can find it on the link tree in the description on TikTok and also on YouTube. And if some people said that they had an issue with logging in, just search for Code of Reality on Spotify, on Discord, or just Core. You'll find it. Thank you so much, our incredible moderator, Guru. Love you, brother. Thank you so much for always being here, being so loyal, and making this ride a lot smoother. Without you, it's not going to be the same. And of course, thank you so much for all the listeners, all the audience. If you're new, if you're old, I appreciate you guys. Without you, this channel is really nothing. It's just me talking to myself. So I appreciate everybody who are always coming, showing their love, support, asking questions, debating. All of this is very, very fun. So I really appreciate everybody. Kelper, Mikhail, appreciate you, brother. Everybody, Jackie, Yoni, can't mention everybody. Turtle, but you know that I know that you're here. Pocket full of shrooms. And thank you so much for incredible guests. Nico, Ghost, Sean, who's gone, and Jorg. Thank you so much for joining, brother. And John, appreciate you, brother. Can post papers in Veilbreak too. Papers, good question, Ghost. No, Veilbreak is just for the laser experiments gathering information. And that tool will also be writing white papers when we have enough information. It will automatically start writing white papers in the background. You also have an AI tool there that kind of helps you orient yourself and understand what was done and what was not done. Just check it out, veilbreak.ai. Let me put it right here. Boom, boom, boom. I'm sure that Guru already put it, but I'm just going to put it just in case. There you go. It's right here again. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody on TikTok and across platforms. Thank you so much for the likes. If you haven't liked the live yet, please do so. The algorithms love this. It really helps tremendously. So like, subscribe to YouTube, Dango Thoughts. Have a good night, everyone. Peace and love. Ciao. Good night, guys.